Do not even get me started on this. No, we don't talk about Fallout 76.
Everyone that I know freaked out. I was like, oh my god, Justin, you're going to the state. You're going to get shot.
All right.
All right. We have two gamers here today. Again, Justin and
You
Yo.
not a gamer, bro?
I was a gamer when I was a kid, but sports
But you gave
took
up
over.
things.
When
Oh,
sports came out.
did you get your software update? So
No. It was a little bit obsolete.
He was-
but I played
yeah.
RuneScape. I played some Taiwanese, South Korean games when I was a kid, but definitely not an avid video game player as versus you guys. I know you played Dota. Kind of, I wouldn't say professionally, but you went to tournaments and all that.
Yeah.
And
I
this
heard about
guy's been, he's a computer scientist, and I mean,
So,
he
yeah, he's a
either, he's.
I am
you're-
indeed a nerd, but I'm not a
Yeah.
very good nerd.
Any
don't-
good games recently?
Dude, I've been playing a lot of Apex Legends.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been making a big comeback these days for some reason. I don't know why, but it used to be freaking huge when it came out. When EA had that game out, it was among Fortnite and all that trend where it's like a free PUBG, but the PUBG wasn't free. But I was just saying there was a wave of like free games that started out. And
Battle Royale stuff.
yeah, battle royale stuff, and it came out and it took over, and now it's making a comeback. A lot of streamers are hopping on that. I saw Shroud playing it the other day, and yeah, dude, it's really fun. And a lot of new games coming out on the horizon that I'm really looking forward to. Far
Such
Cry
as-
6, that's coming out.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been playing. You don't care, do you?
I know. I think I played Far
Did you
Cry
actually?
2.
2.
Yeah,
Not
when
Far
it
Cry
was-
3.
Far Cry. No, the really famous one. I think it
It's
really.
3 with
yeah.
Voss, right? With
I played
Wait.
a brief segment of it, but I remember it when everyone went crazy when Far
Yeah.
Cry 3 came out, and that in my mind that wasn't too long ago. So I was very surprised. Oh wow, it's the 6th generation now.
Yeah, dude. They had actually probably more than 6 because they added Far Cry Primal in one of the sequels, which was
Okay.
like, it was
What
just
is
like, it's like Far Cry Primal is like, it's like during the Stone Age or something where there's like Primal and there's like you use like spears and like stuff like that.
Like a DLC or is it different?
I think it's just a standalone game.
Oh.
Yeah, it's weird.
I feel like these games with such popularity just get butchered over time because they want to keep putting out new generations.
Yes.
A good example is Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's I was just
Creed
about to
1
say
and
it.
2 was awesome.
Yeah.
And then they later on, I think
All these,
the
like,
turning
weird
point was
ones.
the one after
There's
Black
like
Flag.
Brotherhood or something that was.
I think that was
the last one
okay.
really
I'm not
good.
sure if you played Assassin's Creed, but Assassin's Creed,
Played, like the second one, I think.
Yeah.
the second one was the best game, best AC game. But later on, they had Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is no
Yeah, that was
longer
weird.
like a stealth game. It's supposed to be a stealth game.
Was
They-
that
they-
the newest
name
one?
of it.
That was the
They
Egyptian
keep
one, right?
Milking it, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
there was one about Civil War, I think.
Yeah.
There was
Oh,
one
yes,
about
yes.
pirates.
Black Flag.
Black Flag Civil War is episode 3, I believe, after
yeah,
Revelation.
yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
just milk it
Talk about
until it's
Assassin. Hitman is another one.
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie though, Hitman games are actually bomb, and they've been consistent, very well done every single time, and
I
all
think I
the
only
design.
bought one of them.
Which one?
I think it was Hitman.
Just the
I-
first,
first
one?
one?
Yeah,
No,
yeah, the
just
original.
Called, no, they made a new one just
The
called.
new
Hitman,
one, the
right?
new one, just Hitman, right?
Right.
Yeah. That
It's like
one's very
Batman, the new release called The Batman.
good. Oh,
yeah.
oh.
Yeah.
The Batman games are also pretty good.
The Arkham series?
The Arkham
Oh,
series.
yeah, it's
very,
awesome.
Very good. Yeah,
I think
so-
the plot was great.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I actually haven't played it. I just watched the gameplay and the story, and it's unbelievable.
I think
Like,
I bought Arkham Knight. And the thing about Arkham Knight is when it came out, it was a lot of actually this sort of issues happen with a lot of new game or especially with AAA titles.
yeah,
The thing is they drop a game that it requires such a crazy ass graphic card.
oh,
Most player actually can run the game without crashing.
do not even get me started on this. Cyberpunk
yeah,
2077.
that too.
Keanu.
Yeah.
That was insane. Like that was, I didn't have a. I played it like, last half. When did that come out? Like April or something like that, or May
During the pandemic.
during the pandemic, and I bought it and I was so excited for it because
And you couldn't play it.
I could play it, but I played it. I tried to play it on high, and it was like 20, 30 frames, and I was like,
Awesome.
no, it's not, man. It's not. It's like just like, ugh, I don't like it. So I've just moved it down to like low, medium.
Bro, just sell that Rolex and get a proper graphics card, man.
I'm probably getting 3 proper PCs for that money. But like, yeah, like I really enjoyed that game when it came out. That was one of the really.
Will you enjoy Cyberpunk?
I loved it, man. I absolutely loved it.
Well, I thought everyone trashed it.
Everybody, did you buy it?
No.
Everybody trashed it. I'll give you 2 reasons. Very simple. PS4 and Xbox.
Right, it was really crappy on console.
Absolutely trash. So I don't know familiar with 2077. So that game came out. It had hype beyond Star Wars level hype. I'm talking beyond like Force Awakens hype. It was
Right.
People have been talking about this game for
Unreal.
like 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was building up. And then they hired Keanu to be in the E3 whatnot trailer, and it went through the roof of the hype.
Yeah.
Then when the game came out, it basically crashed and burned with the console players because of how hard the graphics were and how beautiful the whole city and how like complex the models were.
Right.
That basically the last gen PS4,
Yeah.
Xbox basically could not run it.
Not
at,
even
like,
Xbox 360? Or are you talking
no,
about Xbox 360?
Xbox One.
Oh, Xbox. Yeah, okay.
Xbox One is the last
Yeah,
gen,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Could not run it like properly. And I'm talking like bugs beyond fixing. Blocks
Right.
like that crashes the
Okay.
game. Like glitches that crashes like the whole mission. Glitches that deletes your save. Stuff like that is crazy. It was crazy. And people shat on it. Sony took it out of Sony's like Play Store. A PS Store. And they were like fucking furious. Like you took down the game from the store
Yeah,
so
that's
people can't buy
that's
it.
very unheard of, especially for a
Yeah.
game that's
Yeah.
got so hyped up for the past 5 years.
Exactly. And I think a big issue is that they probably targeted release for
PS5,
next gen.
which was released, released,
was-
I think a year later than intentionally planned.
And so I think they were like, crap, like, wait, the PS5 is not fully out and people are not buying it and people don't have it yet, then
yeah,
let's just force it into last gen, and they fucked it up. And
Yeah.
like the PC community still reported a lot of bugs, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people had
It's
a lot of bugs.
playable, but I think I still heard like not as bad as console, but I heard a lot of bad things about
I
okay. It
played
seems
it
like
day
it
ago,
seems
yeah.
like the problem revolves around the operational side of things.
Yeah.
The bugs, the graphic card problems. But were there any negative comments about the plot or the
Very good
story, the
question.
game itself?
The
If
game-
the game's able to run seamlessly, would you love it? Would
I
a
would
lot of
love
people
it.
like it?
That's why I loved it because
Okay.
I ran it seamlessly with low and medium graphics. Not the best. Still looked
Okay.
absolutely stunning, but I didn't have game breaking bugs. I had a few bugs that I just had to reload my save, go back to previous points, so I just restart, which is not too bad, you
Yep.
know. But a lot of people were complaining about game breaking bugs and stuff like that. I
Yep.
didn't have that. I had a great experience with it. The plot was absolutely amazing because the customization is great. The entire city feels freaking nice. Like it feels like you're in this new world where you're just a badass who's like
Yeah.
working his way. Like you're like this little dude who's like just a street guy, and then you fight bigger people, stronger people, and you build up this street cred where like the whole world evolves around how you grow, and then you'll start seeing these people who are like, oh shit,
Underdog story.
yeah, it's very nice because the city kind of evolves around you as well. So the more notorious you become, they're like, oh shit, it's that guy, kill him.
Right.
Instead of like, oh, who are you, little bitch? And then like it starts getting like,
Is there a specific city the game is based on?
yeah,
I feel like based on the trailer that I've seen, the Keanu Reeves trailer, it looks a lot like it's a scene from Blade Runner 2.
yeah, it does. It definitely does feel like Blade Runner because
Yeah.
the cyberpunk motif and like I don't know what the city is based on. Night cities, I don't know, mixture between L.A., New York kind of thing.
I would imagine somewhere like Tokyo though. Do you think that's a closer comp?
You know, it reminds me of the what's that movie called? Big Hero 6.
Right.
The San Francisco or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a hybrid between San Fran and Tokyo.
Yeah, something like that. But obviously it's not cartoon. It's like very gritty, dark, very, very disgusting at times when there's like corpses and there's trash everywhere and stuff like that. And that experience was fantastic.
Yeah.
Really, really unfortunate that the last gen people could not experience it, and that only people who had very, very limited access to PS5 could truly really love that game.
Yeah, what happened to that? I thought it was supposed to be like I'm talking about PS5.
Yeah. I
It's
know.
supposed to be out already, right?
It was. I think Sony intended for the release to be around 2019. So I'm sure you guys will know better than me, but these consoles gets updated every around 5 years, and so
Actually, I'm not a console player, but go
you're
on.
not a console player,
I'm
but
always PC.
but the
master
time
race.
period from say Xbox 360 to Xbox One or from PS3 to PS4 on average is around 5-6 years, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the pandemic hit, and all of a sudden there's a lot of supply issues.
Right,
a lot of my
right.
friends tried to get their hands on a PS5, but they couldn't because a lot of the semiconductor manufacturers they were affected heavily. Those in Taiwan, in Southeast Asia, and China.
TSMC.
TSMC.
Right.
And with what's happening in Taiwan at the moment, you would imagine it's getting even worse.
Yes.
Because
good point.
the
Rona.
pandemic is actually getting a little bit out of hand in Taiwan at the moment, and so semiconductor chips factories, a lot of them are closed, and that's one reason. And second reason seems to be around the demand side of things, because during the pandemic, what do? You stay at
Stay
home,
Yeah. Play
and so your
games.
reliance on, say, at-home entertainment, console or computers and upgrades and everything, that creates a huge increase in demand during the pandemic year
Yeah, that makes sense.
for semiconductor chips. And if you think about these suppliers, they would need to balance out, should I have 20% of my outputs in mobile, 20% of my output in console, and 20% whatsoever. But all of a sudden, you have a demand surge in every single area. And so that's why Sony was really struggling to get semiconductor chips in order to build out those PS5 consoles.
Units, right, yeah.
And if you look at even Apple, right, they're having their WWDC,
What's
World Developers Conference, something
Right,
like that.
yeah, of course. How do I
sometime-
not know that?
Yeah, sometime tomorrow. And
Right.
the MacBook Pros even were affected.
The what?
Because The MacBook Pros.
Oh,
They're coming out with a new generation of MacBook Pros, which is like a new version of what Justin is using at the moment.
Yeah, I've heard.
I just bought it. Dang it.
Yeah, I told you. It was supposed to be released last year, but again, because of the
Delayed.
semiconductor chip shortage, they had to delay it for a year. So hopefully, I think tomorrow or the day after, we're recording this probably before the WWDC, but we might be releasing this afterwards. But hopefully, the new generation MacBook Pro would come out.
Yeah. So TSMC before this is like sidetrack. TSMC they have some sort of like contract with the U.S. military with their semiconductor chips and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think there's a trade war angle to it as well,
Yeah.
because obviously right before the pandemic, the U.S. and the Trump administration went to a very heated, kind of tense relationship, on trade, and Taiwan being kind of a proxy country that's stuck in between.
Yeah.
A lot of their major consumers, say TSMC, actually comes from the U.S. and China. Those I would
Right.
imagine were the two main customers of their services, and they were caught in between. And I would imagine that fueled a lot of the problems we're seeing right now with regard to semiconductor chip shortage.
Right. But is it? I don't know if this is true. I've heard about this. There's a semiconductor shortage, but is there a silicon shortage? Like, is this kind of same deal of like crude oil and stuff like that?
Raw
where we can't really
materials?
find- yeah, raw materials shortage.
I'm not sure, but one thing to flag is that you have to you got to know that the pandemic hits different countries at different times.
Right.
Yeah.
It really started hitting China, and I would imagine the Southeast Asian countries very, very early on. We're talking about 2019 December or 2020 January,
Yeah.
right?
Because it started in Wuhan,
Yeah.
obviously.
And so in 2020 January, everything sort of stopped in the Southeast Asia side. Everyone started working from home, factories are closed, and etc. And that later on, the pandemic later on affected the West a little bit more.
Right.
U.S. and Europe are still recovering from the pandemic to a certain extent. And so if you think about the timing issues, right? All of a sudden we can't produce any semiconductor chips, and all of a sudden we have this surge in demand like 2 months
Yeah, it's
later,
like a delayed
and we don't have
effect.
like enough inventory
Right.
in order
Right.
to fill that gap as well. And that's why it's my
Perfect storm.
prediction's gonna be really, really hard to get your hands on a
PS5.
PS5 even later this year.
Man, that sucks, man.
So Cyberpunk will have to wait. I'm not. Oh, I mean,
Well,
you
it's
have-
crashed and burned. It's been a while, and then people are pretty much like their stock prices crash like immediately after release.
What's the
It
company
was
that produces?
our CD Projekt
CD
Red?
Project.
Okay.
CD, it's a Polish company, so I think
Yeah.
it's on the Polish exchange or whatnot.
I
Yeah,
I don't even know what their last project were.
Witcher 3,
Oh,
dude, it was
oh,
unreal, that game.
yeah. Well, that makes a lot of sense then. That's
Yeah.
why people had so much hype on.
Yeah. Like they're a
Cyberpunk.
really good developer. Like they really are. But the problem is that just like every other developing like game developer, I think one of the big issue in the, video game developing scene is that the culture in all these gaming house or gaming company have very, very bad programming kind of flow because
Okay.
they do something called crunch time.
Right.
So I don't know if you're
What's
familiar
crunch
with this.
time?
So crunch
No.
time for those who aren't developers. I am not a game developer, but I've been to a few conferences and hear people because I love video
Okay.
games. So I go to those museum
Expose.
expos where there's like pan of video game developers and to talk about their experience.
Oh, you actually go to those panels.
Sometimes I go to those because
Okay.
there was one in VNA when I was studying
Mhm.
in London, and I went to that, and I was like, "Oh, this is so cool!" And I learned about the industry because back then I still don't know what I wanted to do. I wanted to explore whether or not this was something that I wanted to try, but I heard about basically every company does it. It's called crunch time, and it happens just before there's a big deadline. Everybody in that team or everybody in something in the team that needs to hand in something will do like 24-hour crunch, 24-hour, 36 hours of nonstop coding and nonstop like just push this thing through.
Mm.
Now,
So like a deadline fighting situation.
it's deadline fighting in
On
the corporate
steroids.
world on steroids to the extreme.
They just make up a new term within the gaming industry, so it
Yeah.
sounds better.
Well,
We call it crunch time. It's really deadline fighting. I mean,
yeah,
come
and
on.
it's really, really, really common, and it's extremely bad for everybody. Like everybody knows people burn out like when they keep doing this, and it's really bad in the community. Now, proper software development. I'm not going to talk about this too much, right? It's not about let's get everything done just before a deadline. It's all about incremental changes over a long period. So you have something out to the consumer as soon as possible. It's called agile development. You learn this in day one, basically, in computer science, right? Software engineering. It's like you get something, an MVP, a minimal viable product. Even in business school, you probably know. You put it out to get feedback, and from that feedback, you improve on your product slowly and slowly, slowly. Instead of like having a big waterfall cycle, which is kind of the traditional cycle of development, where you have your initial planning stage, you have your product building stage, and then you slowly testing, and then at the end is a big waterfall where you release it. That's what games are these days.
I mean, I don't even do programming, but that's what I do when I work with y'all.
Yeah, of course, right? You'd never want to have like this big release at the end date, and then it sucks.
Yeah, it would be stressful as hell.
Yeah. So they do that, and I hate it. Now, I think it's changing these days. There's a small change in that trend where very popular these days to use kind of like a DLC season pass kind of structure
Yeah.
instead of like a big game release. Of course, AAA titles, they're going to have a $60 game. They're going to release a big game. But those small changes, they can come in season pass or DLCs, which I think is a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of having like full...
Well,
Okay, what do you think?
like the thing about DLC is like I already paid for a $60 experience.
Yes. I'm purely talking about in the developer point of view. If I was doing a project for CD Projekt Red, for example, they're like, let's do Cyberpunk in like 5 years. I would be like, how about we do 1 year, but we release one part of the city. And then next year, we release another part of the city. Next
Okay.
year, we release another part.
That's the thing. There are two types of DLC or season pass. The first one, which I think is how people used to do it, is that I pay for $60. I get a full experience, like an experience that is worth $60.
Yes.
Then, if you drop a DLC, let's say I have to pay for like $20 extra,
Mm-hmm.
and is
Now you spend $80.
actually $20 worth of experience. But these days, some game developer.
No, we don't need to say some. We can name drop. EA. Go on.
Well, not just EA. I think even it's not even a
Ubisoft.
AAA thing now. Some indie
Yes,
developer
Ubisoft
even
is
do
bad,
that.
yeah.
They will, this is a $60 game, but then you only get like 50% of the experience.
Yeah.
They charge you the full price
Yeah.
of how they used to charge games and give you half of it. And we're like, we're planning on having a season pass, DLC, yada, 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 just to, charge you a couple more times.
And another thing is that
You end up paying like double the price to get one whole
I'm going to
game.
argue against myself now, actually. If I were to do that, let's say I have a $20 DLC or microtransaction pack that includes a $20 worth of content. Now, $20 is 1/3 of the original game, $60. 1/3 of the original game content is quite a lot. If I, as a person who doesn't want to spend that much money on another DLC, realize, whoa, that's actually like a whole third of a story that I haven't get to experience, I'm going to feel pissed because I already spent $60 and I have to spend $20 more for more that I missed out on, that maybe have like another ending or another like whole part of game mode that I really want to play. It's like, it sucks.
There's a difference between something that you missed out on or something that is bonus.
True. Yeah. So maybe like a good way is to really, but there's a famous example was the Division 2 games. I don't know if you know. They basically added like another, not really another ending, but another story arc in a DLC that was very famous for, like, the original game, the Division 2 was all right when it came out, but then they added more DLCs and it became better and better, and the community grew through that. And of course, a lot of examples that, Far Cry series, for example, have a lot of DLCs that include new game mode. Even in standalone game in, I think, Far Cry 4, they added an entire new game.
It's like the neon.
I actually just downloaded that game, and it was freaking sick.
It's a very different game.
It was
The
amazing.
whole style
Yeah.
and the whole gameplay is like different story.
Yeah.
Basically.
Far Cry did that shit well, to be honest.
I think it's
Like,
Far Cry 4.
Yeah, Far Cry 4. It was the one with Ming. Yeah. And it was amazing. That neon game, I forgot what it's called, but it's
Something Dragon.
yeah. Blood and Dragon something. And then it was, Dragon. Anyway, but it was like this cyberpunk. It was almost like a cyberpunk thing with neon lights, and the guns we're shooting were like lasers. And
Yeah, that's the kind of good DLC I'm talking about.
yeah, man.
When you get it, you don't feel like, this was supposed to be in the game. Why am I getting it now? Why do I have to pay like $20 extra bucks?
So you're arguing the DLC structure has evolved over time, where at the start it's really an optional bonus, which you could find, some additional skin.
Of course,
or
now
new
there's still
guns.
games. Yeah, of course, there's still games. That
Now
do that.
they're just
Yeah.
giving you maybe like 60% of the main story content. And you could buy the rest of 40%,
Yeah.
right?
Some games do that. Yeah, some games are stupid.
Any
like that.
specific companies? I know.
Now, as I said, EA is a big, like a notorious company that milk
Right.
microtransactions like crazy.
Bethesda?
Bethesda, you mean like the Skyrim series?
No, the Fallout.
Right, Fallout series. I'd say no.
No,
It done well or done
It
badly?
used to be pretty good until Fallout 76.
No, we don't talk about Fallout 76.
Have you heard about Fallout 76?
We don't
I haven't heard about it, but
don't talk about Fallout 76.
I like the fact that
So-
he doesn't like it.
Well, I don't want to talk too much. I don't want to like sidetrack our topic today too much to talk about.
No, we can talk about it
failed
because I really
games.
think that's
But-
a really good topic.
So, are you familiar with the Fallout franchise?
I'm not familiar. Educate me, please.
Okay, so the Fallout franchise is, basically every story is about, nuclear fallout. Is set in like during World War II, right? I think.
No,
the
is
premise.
it Cold War? It's not World War II.
Oh, right.
It's like
Oh,
Cold
yeah,
War because
okay.
it's like mad, mutually,
Some people argue we're still in the Cold War era, but
with a
different
different
country.
with different countries.
right, Russia
Well,
and the
so
US.
the whole premise of Fallout is assuming Cold War or World War II went on, and everyone bombed each other. In the United States, a lot of people get to hide in nuclear bunkers. So basically, each episode you start with someone that left their bunker and start venturing off in the fallout, a
Nuclear
world with
wasteland.
nuclear fallout, hence Fallout. So, well, Fallout 1 to 4 are all...
No, Fallout 1 to 2. But let's just talk about Fallout 3 onwards.
Okay.
Because it's different games.
All right. Fallout 1 to 2 is kind of like RuneScape,
Yeah.
kind of
RPG.
RPG.
It's actually kind of like a roguelike game, right?
Yeah. Not really. It's more like RPG,
Oh,
more
yeah,
like
okay.
Warcraft, that type of game style.
Yeah.
But moving from Fallout 3, it became well, it's not FPS.
It's an FPS. It's like a FPS with an optional third-person camera that you can switch in and out.
Yep. And it's always, the whole franchise is always story heavy. And it's always like the whole point is about, what kind of choice are you going to make in a post-apocalyptic world?
Yep.
What kind of faction are you going to take? Are you going to be with the humans, or are you going to be with the guys that are, because the world has evolved now. There are mutants, there are synthetic humans, robots. So which side are you going to take?
Yeah.
There's a lot about
There's
dialogue,
different factions.
stories, what kind of choice are you going to make? It's pretty interesting. It's always known for their really cool
Storytelling.
Original
storyline.
content,
Yeah.
story
Yeah.
Really,
making.
really well
The
done.
gameplay wise is pretty cool. With each release, they have new enemy types, and you can do have romance option with the characters, friendship, yada yada
Character
yada.
building, points
It's
allocation.
pretty solid. It's not something that was like wow, mind blowing, but it's always solid. But they came up with a new game, I think, to 2019 or 2018. 2018, I think.
Oh, yeah.
In 2018, they came up with a new game called Fallout 76. So during the Bethesda con or announcement, they were like really hyping it up. It's like, oh man, this is gonna have like twice the size of the map, 4 times the whatever. Everything is hyped up. So
No, you forgot to mention the most important part.
it's online.
It was
feature.
multiplayer.
Yeah, it was multiplayer. Whereas with Fallout 3,
Got
for
it.
all the past releases, always a single player experience. They hype it up like crazy.
That's a very fundamental change in the way they market themselves.
Incredibly,
Multiplayer
yeah.
versus a story-heavy single player game.
Exactly.
Yep.
Anyway, they try to do both, right? They try to have that story-heavy genre. They try to have that,
Off the top of my head, I can't think of a single game that could do both very well.
Honestly, that's a really good question.
It's not FPS. It's like Warcraft.
Okay.
I didn't play
No,
Warcraft.
World of Warcraft.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
I didn't play World of Warcraft. Does it have a really good story?
Yeah. It's got crazy good story and
Wow.
also multiplayer.
What
Okay.
about like Diablo? That one's not so good. I remember playing Diablo 3. I was like, this sucks.
Diablo has been solid and it's also multiplayer and story heavy. Yeah. But never. I don't think
Fair
it's a thing that exists in FPS a lot.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. But anyway, back to Fallout series of 76 was just I hyped up and it was terribly dropped
Well,
again.
yeah, when it dropped,
Bugs.
basically, lots and lots of game breaking bugs, and it became very grindy. Well, it's
Right.
a very grindy
Yeah.
game, and it's also
Grindy
very,
as in
very greedy.
Yeah, grinding,
like
yeah,
microtransaction. Like, if they weren't trying to gain like get a lot of money from the release, they're trying to drain your wallet with microtransactions.
Yep.
Lot of like, you can buy this pants that you can wear in a game for $20.
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was
I just got a
Every-
pretty interesting statistic. The amount of DLC content or like skins being traded around the internet, because there are like forums and discussion places
Yeah, yeah.
online and marketplaces that
Yeah,
facilitate
yeah,
these
to let you-
transactions.
yeah,
It's a
exactly.
whole market on its
Yeah,
own.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think Bloomberg this week reported that there was around $2.3 billion worth of skin and DLC content that's
Wow.
being traded.
Really?
Well, I wouldn't be
marketplaces
surprised.
in 2015.
I wouldn't be
2015.
In 2015, so you would
Wow, now
imagine
must-
even now it's probably I wouldn't be surprised if that figure's doubled. the
It's-
2015 figure.
just after our conversation about the crypto
Yeah,
market, about the NFT,
that was a good conversation.
I was thinking about like, NFT art going insane. Like, yeah, I understand. My argument was talking about how they burn art and stuff. I still stand by it. But whether or not like an NFT, a digital art actually has value or is collectible, it kind of relates to having a DLC in games. I know it's kind of a far-fetched because you can see them, you can show it off in games. But having that collectible item in the game.
Oh, you
right?
mean like cosmetic, not DLC?
Cosmetics. No, not DLC. Yeah, like cosmetic. You can really show that off in a lot of games that really like, oh yeah, look at me. I think one of the famous examples, one of those swords in World of Warcraft. I don't know if you know. I forgot what it's called, but like
Jordan rings.
that's
in
it.
Warcraft,
Right?
not World of Warcraft.
Was it Warcraft? All right.
Wait, which one was it?
I think it was. I forgot, but
That's probably not too important. But you're making this comparable because
it's sold
you
for
think
like
they're-
tens of thousands of dollars.
You think just like NFT, these
Yeah.
skins only have very artificial value that comes from
Collectible items,
Because
the
it's
the
good,
psychology
cosmetic-
behind it.
right, the
From,
psychology
I
behind
want to
it.
show off what I have. I want
No,
to
it's
be the
also
coolest
about
guy.
But it
the
doesn't increase
rarity.
your firing power
Yeah, it doesn't.
or damage.
Well, no, that sword does, right? That sword was insane. That sword was supposed to be really good, apparently. I forgot what it was.
Wait, I'm talking about a ring. It's called Jordan ring. Or
Oh,
something like that.
was
It's
it Jordan
very
ring?
rare
But there
and
was a
expensive.
sword that was.
Okay, we're probably.
I mean,
talking
that
about
doesn't
We're talking
matter.
about different. Anyway, but I apparently it was one of those like really really rare sword that was really really good, and then you can only get it from like a really really rare chance of dropping in a dungeon. Anyway. But yeah, I think there is obviously elements where you want to increase your firepower and you pay for it. But I feel
Yeah.
like even that has a limit. But the cosmetic psychology behind like I want to own the coolest skin,
Yeah.
I want to own the most exclusive thing, has no limit. Just look at like Supreme. Just look at all these like designer clothes that have very limited thing.
Would you equate them with NFT? Like a Supreme shirt?
It's the same psychology, I would say.
Okay.
It's the same psychology behind it. Of course, it's not the same thing. It's a physical.
Yeah, yeah.
But the psychology of showing off something exclusive and someone in the know,
Yeah.
right? That's the same psychology for DLCs. Anyway, huge sidetrack.
Yeah.
Come back to video gaming. You know, we had this whole conversation. Me and Justin talk about Fallout. We come back to you, Lim. We talk about you know, what we played when we were younger. You know, I think that's kind of sets our minds on what to play when we're older, right? You played a lot of Dota when you were younger, right? You did.
A little bit too much, but well, actually, I think I actually want to know.
Exactly. I want to
Mr.
know,
Robot.
Mr. Robot over here. How you get your
before,
program up?
before they hit you with the software update that take the gaming function out of you, like what you said you used to play RuneScape.
Yeah, when I was human. You know,
I am still human.
RuneScape.
RuneScape was a game I played when I was, I think, 5 years old. My brother started playing that, and
It
he was pretty
requires
good
a
at it.
lot of time investment, right?
It does, and I think that's why it's so addictive because you're constantly building up your character. You're increasing your skills. I mean, in RuneScape, you could literally do anything. You could fish. You could chop trees. You could
Gamble.
mine your shit. You could gamble. You could sell things in a marketplace.
Yep.
It's a lot like a simulation of the real world.
Kinda
Whereas,
like World of Warcraft too.
yeah, I've never played World of Warcraft, but I would imagine they're pretty similar
Yeah,
in
both
I
nature.
remember I used to spend a lot of time just fishing and making band-aids.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's actually a very good life lesson for kids to learn.
Yeah.
You know, there are so many ways to. Well, I mean, just
100%.
economically, say make money. You could be a fishing expert in RuneScape, and you could sell lobsters. You could sell
100%.
swordfishes, and people would buy that in the marketplace. So it really gives you a very good idea of how the world works, the world of exchange, the world of human capital exchange, teamwork, etc. Right? And so I think that was. I benefit a lot from playing video games when I was a kid.
Right.
And the other game I played was this Taiwanese / South Korean game. It was called Grand Chase.
Oh, GC, man.
GC,
Hell yeah.
yeah.
GC.
Wait, I've never heard of that.
You might be able to explain. a little bit
I
better,
don't remember
but
much from GC, but I remember it was also an RPG.
It was an RPG game,
yeah.
so it's like you go into a room, you could choose different characters. There were 3 characters you could choose, 4 maybe at the
Yeah.
time, and then it's like a battle game. So you play online against other players, and you try to kill them.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's
I mean,
a
yeah.
2D game as well.
It
no,
was.
Was it a 2D game? Would characterize that as a 2D game?
Well, it was a platformer, right? It was like you have to jump on, and then you try to like. It was
Yeah,
something
you
like
could
that, I
jump,
remember.
you could go left and right, but you can't
Yeah.
go forward and backwards.
But that was fun. That was a really childhood game when I was thinking about GC. Damn.
Yeah, I was actually pretty good at it. I was one of the few who would, again, at the time you could buy these, what do you call it? Credits,
Yeah,
game
yeah,
credits,
in-game credits.
in-game credits. the way you do it back in the day is because you don't have a credit card as a
Yes,
kid. I was 7
yes.
years old. I didn't have a credit card.
Yeah.
So you go to 7-Eleven, a local
Oh.
7-Eleven
Convenience store, yeah.
convenience store, buy up a credit. These credits there, you scrap that little barcode and you get the series number and you type
Yeah.
it in online and you can buy these
Oh.
extra
You
content.
never had that, bro?
I had.
Deem so, bro. Yeah,
But
yeah.
I had it really late though.
Oh, okay.
It's like, okay, back in high school, as I recall, not even high school or primary school, I remember people are already into this game called
Yeah.
Run Online.
Oh,
Tails
shit, man.
Runner,
Tails
bro.
Runner,
Tails
sorry.
Runner.
Tails Runner.
Hell
You know, the ads
yeah.
were everywhere. People really loved that.
Right.
That's like all those cosmetics were mad.
Yeah.
Absolutely mad. Keep
It's
going.
insane. By the way, there are people who sold these DLC. Sorry, not DLC, but
So
these
characters.
these skin or
Yeah.
character contents and became millionaires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With selling these shit.
I've got a crazy story about that. Keep going.
Yeah, I remember back then. Okay, for my childhood, kind of online or gaming history, it's like back in primary school or high school. I remember there were like three big games. It was
Yeah.
Tails Runner,
Mm-hmm.
and then it evolves into CS:GO.
CSO, always.
Yes,
of
always.
course.
Everyone loved CS:GO back then, and then it was League.
That was later on, but yes, League is insanely huge.
And I was never into either of those.
any
games.
of them really?
Any of them.
Wow.
Well,
Not even CS.
no. I started having a not so great PC, so I couldn't. I played Tails Runner, but it's kind of laggy,
Yeah.
and I didn't really like it.
Oh, do you know how to dash run? Is that the right term?
Dash run?
Dash
Oh, like
jump. Yeah, there's like a special hack. I wouldn't call it a hack, but there's like a special
it's a special
skill.
technique. It's a move.
Special
yeah, of
technique,
course.
special movement you could use in order to conserve your energy, but also
Oh,
constantly
I
run
know
at
what you
high
mean.
speed.
Like,
Yeah.
It's,
You know what I'm talking-
exactly. Because if you watch any high level player, all
Yeah.
they do is dash run. Like
Yes.
the entire course. They don't do anything else but
Yes.
dash run. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, I never really liked them. I played NDS for a bit. I had an NDS, so Mario Kart or whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was never really into gaming. But the first game I really got into and sort of addicted
Was Dota 2.
Nope, not even that.
Team Fortress 2.
TF2.
Okay.
TF2 is like a big part of my teenhood, if you can call that.
Do you know Team Fortress 2?
Do
you know that
I've
game?
heard of it, but I don't know
Right.
how.
So the game is basically
It's an FPS
Yeah.
game where you can pick
Choose
between like
different
9
characters.
class,
Okay.
and with each class you have your unique moves and also weapon,
Mm-hmm.
and you do like King of the Hill kind of plays down,
Yeah.
or try to fight overtake the
Capture the
flag, capture
flag.
the flag,
Okay.
sort of like team FPS type game that you can find in like Halo or Red versus Blue, that kind of classic game.
yeah.
But I was really into TF2, really into TF2.
Which was your character?
I play Scout and Spy a lot.
Nice.
Sneaky runner kind of.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, but the whole thing is, I really like the community. There
Yes,
were,
humongous. The
There
community
were a
is insane.
huge like Hong Kong community.
Yeah.
Right.
So what I'll do every day, I can't wait to get school
School
time
time's
is
over,
over.
yeah,
Go to these PC banks.
Run back home, log onto my Steam, and
Oh.
join the Hong Kong server, and I'll start chatting with those people. Hey, just done with school. The funny thing is, on the server, we have like all sorts of people.
Really?
We had like some people that are solicitors. We have
Wow.
people. We had a taxi driver. I remember
Uh-huh.
someone studying med school, some college students, one that works in bank,
Some teenagers.
and
Teenagers
that didn't really want to study and just want to spend a lot of time chatting and playing with random ass people. It was really cool. We even like meet up. We had like
Really?
Do you guys meet up at these PC banks? As in like
PC bars. Yeah.
Gaming
no,
bars, that's
Yeah, of
what we
course.
We
call
meet
it.
up to
Ma-
catch
mobile, yeah.
hot pot.
Oh,
really?
like
We don't
actual
meet- we don't meet
hangout.
up- We don't meet up for game.
Wow. That's
So,
very
so the
cool. Yeah,
thing
yeah,
is,
yeah.
it's like very weird, right? So you have like 10 or like 15 people, all we don't really know each other that well.
Yeah, but you know each other
We'll
in
all
game.
grab like hot pot together.
But
the
how was the
age-
experience though?
The
Was it
age ranged from like 14 to like 40.
was it awkward or was it really
No, it
cool?
was
It was
pretty-
chill, right?
pretty
Nice. I'd imagine
It's
so.
like
I'd
pretty
imagine
crazy.
So. Yeah.
And yeah, that was that I played it for. I think last time I checked my Steam was like 700 hours.
Nice.
Wow.
That's impressive. That's
So yeah,
impressive,
yeah. Well, if anyone is wondering why I didn't go to uni right after high school and why I flunked my DSE,
Yeah.
well, that is part of it.
But also mainly Dota too, right?
Another part of it is Dota 2.
Hmm.
So the thing is, I told you I was never in the league, right? And technically, League and Dota 2 belongs to the same genre of game as
Yep.
MOBA,
Yep.
multi-online battle arena,
Mm-hmm.
multiplayer online battle arena. You do the same, quote unquote, same thing. You know, free lanes, try to take over towers.
course,
then you
very
Is it-
classic.
Are they both developed by Riot Games?
Nope.
I think League is developed by Riot Games, which is owned by
Nope.
Tencent, right?
No,
Yep.
no. So the whole concept of MOBA start from Warcraft.
Okay.
Because back in the day, Warcraft, you can do a lot of like different game modes. You can invent your own game modes. So people will make like tower defense games or whatever.
Interesting.
With the access provided in Warcraft, people invented Dota 1. in
That's very
Warcraft.
interesting. I did not know that.
So back then, every player model, everything in Dota came from Warcraft, which is why even Dota 2 these days, a lot of like the character models,
Came from
you
Warcraft.
can find the inspiration of why, like, oh, this guy actually look like this from Warcraft or World of Warcraft, like the species or whatever. But okay, Dota was invented in Warcraft, and then a little later, Riot Games took that idea and made League.
Yep.
So League actually came out before Dota 2.
Yep.
Then back in the day, there's also, I'm pretty sure there is a Taiwanese based game that is also called Sunjang.
Right. Oh yeah, I heard about that.
I've
I heard
heard
about
of
that.
it.
Yeah, I've heard
Yeah,
about
so
Sunjang.
Sunjang is also a MOBA.
Right.
I'm pretty sure there is a crowd of like
is it-
niche crowd.
Is
in
it
Hong
Guild
Kong.
Wars? No, it's not. It's not.
I don't know
Keep
what
going.
it's called. I never played it.
No,
But
it's
then around when we were 15, 16, I think. Back,
Mm-hmm.
I was still playing Dota at TF2 at the time. But then a TF2 friend of mine was like, "Oh, I got this beta key for this like random game called Dota 2. Do you want to play it?"
Wow.
Oh, so you were one of the first players of Dota 2.
beta.
I'm pretty sure I was one of the first Hong Kong players.
Right.
That's very cool.
Early Hong Kong. It was in closed beta. It's not even open beta.
Whoa! Wow.
So-
Oh yeah, because we've got a closed beta key.
Yeah, I got a closed beta key, and I was like, "Oh, sure, I guess I'll check."
How
this
did your
out."
friend get that key?
I'm pretty sure the whole beta key thing is like they're like Steam Valve will like give it out to a select few player, but then everyone that owns the game can also share with other people.
Yep.
I see.
So
That makes sense. That makes
Passed the
sense,
torch to me, and I was like,
Multi-level marketing.
yeah, sort of, I guess. I was
Just
like,
kidding.
This is pretty fun. I didn't like League because, well, back in days when I go to those like internet pubs or gaming pubs, everyone is so good at the game. When I
yeah.
play with them, I would be like, "Yo, Justin, why are you so shit at
Yeah,
League?"
and it's always it's always
I played one
it's
game.
extremely toxic. Like
Yeah.
extremely toxic.
Extremely
Oh my
toxic
god,
and
yes.
stressful.
I
And
got
I know, right?
I got to share a story because I played League with you once.
All right. Let's
I'll
go
try
again.
to wrap up my Dota story real quick so you can do it yours. Youngest. Right, so imagine like how stressful and unpleasant it is the first time I play League, and it's like, yo, why are you so shit? And I was like, for someone that had zero MOBA
Yeah.
experience,
Yeah,
if you're playing a game of MOBA,
Yeah.
very stressful
Yeah,
and not pleasant, right?
Yeah.
What am I doing? Because
Yeah.
I've never played something like that. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's
Or,
very
or-
difficult.
or I have to kill the creeps to get gold, whatever. I don't
No,
know.
no.
what's-
Last hit the
Last
creep.
hit.
Oh!
Yeah. I was like, what am I doing? Why is everyone shouting at me? It's very stressful and scary. So I was like, no, I don't want to play this game anymore. But when I played Dota, well, I was new, and there's no one
There's
to
no, like,
shout
yeah.
at me.
Yeah, and it's not like
Yeah.
the people weren't that good back then, right? Because it's closed beta.
Well,
I'm
yeah.
guessing.
Well, of course there are players that came from
League
League
and then
or
really good
Dota
at it.
1,
Yeah,
but then if I'm not playing rank, or even if I play rank, everyone is starting new. And then the thing about the difference between Dota 2 and League till now is that Dota 2 provide all their heroes or champs for free, whereas League,
What?
Yeah. Whereas with League, you have like free champs, the free basic champs,
Not
which
3 now. It's like loads, like 6 base champs.
oh,
It's quite a
6
lot,
base
I
champs,
think.
and then your
Was it
weekly rotation free champs.
Okay, maybe I'm. Yeah.
So you
Sorry,
have
yeah.
to-
Maybe
you
it's
have-
3
you
base
have-
champs and
to
you have all the rotation.
purchase
Sorry,
your
yeah,
way
you're right.
out.
Yeah.
You have to buy
Yeah.
champs.
Yeah.
Whereas with
rotations.
Dota, you get everything for free. You don't have to purchase.
All of them is for free.
Well, back then, last time I checked, it still is. I'm not sure whether they changed their,
It's kind of like
economy or
Overwatch then. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah.
But then they charge you with cosmetic skins
Sure.
and whatever.
And they make tons of
But
from
back
there.
then, I was like, this is really fun. Even though no one I know, literally no one in my circle.
Not even your school?
No one.
Wow.
Yep.
Just that guy that gave you the closed beta key.
Yeah. And,
Very cool.
Well, and they're not that into it too. So I was the only one that is really into Dota 2. But
Right.
then ever since I started playing Dota 2, I really got hooked, and I didn't play TF2 all that much anymore. And it went to a point that first off, I didn't play in China or Southeast Asia servers because people shouts a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And
Sure.
Not to be racist, that's just my experience. Whenever I play Chinese player or Chinese servers, even though the ping is very low, it's very smooth, but people shouts a lot. And Dota 2 has a voice open mic channel.
That is very interesting. You know, League did not
League-
have that
League never had
until
that. like last
season
year.
8 or
It
something.
used to
I
be
don't know,
just
crazy.
typing. It's
Yeah,
just text chat. But with Dota, you can just, with a press of a button, you can shout into a mic and shout into everyone. So every other game, I'll have people like shouting really loud
Yeah,
to me.
yeah.
So I was like, nah, I don't really want that. I
So
thought-
that's a reason why you didn't try to go pro, is because that the people are a little bit.
Oh no,
Rude.
I did try to go pro.
Oh, right.
I
What happened?
I spent a lot of time playing Dota in ranked, and I played with I played with US servers or EU servers. I played rank, and that's part of the reason how I got better in English
Right.
because we have to talk, we have to communicate. I made a lot of great friends
Right.
that I'm really tight with back then through like Dota 2 sessions. And one of my friends were like, "Yo, I got this tournament to cast. Are you familiar with like casting, or
The casting couch.
I was gonna say that, but
not that kind
I
of
paused for a
casting.
minute.
It's kind of like when you watch football or NBA.
yeah.
Oh, like
you get
draft-
scouted, you
like
get drafted.
drafted.
Yeah.
No, there's an announcer or whatever, like the commentary guy.
Oh,
Okay.
So with Dota, we call it casting. So you're like
Okay.
the guy that you're like
caster.
On,
Yeah, I got
on
you, I
this
got
side,
you.
we
Yeah,
have
yeah,
this
yeah.
5 players is playing this champ, and
Got you.
Like I have to analyze like their move or
Yeah.
what.
Oh,
might
you got to
happen.
be the commentator for
It's
a
great.
game.
Those are really great. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I did a couple tournaments,
Oh, you casted
but
a few of them.
yeah, it's not like a major tournament, like smaller like EU style tournament, but it was pretty fun. It's really really fun.
Did you do a good job or?
I think it's pretty.
How old were you at that time?
17.
17.
Wow.
16, I think.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, but then the TI4 came around. So
TI4.
TI is also called the International, which is the World Cup of
It's
Dota.
like LCS.
Yeah,
Right,
the
right,
LCS
right.
for Dota. And yeah, when it was 2014, TI4 came around. It was really, really big because
course.
as I recall, the prize pool that year went crazy.
Was it $25 million?
Wait, no,
TI4?
7 mil. I think.
Oh, sorry,
TI4.
for Dota 2.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's still 7 mil. It's not 25 mil.
Yep.
So the thing is, the difference between how League run things and Dota run things, Dota is very player community based.
Yeah.
A lot more.
I heard about that too. Yeah.
Whereas like for League, the prize pool is just decided by Riot Games or Tencent this day.
Right.
I guess.
So no contribution from the players.
Yeah, but for Dota, player can contribute to the prize pool by purchasing
In-game skins.
purchasing tickets to a tournament. Not
interesting.
not like the live tournament, but you can watch it like on your computer or whatever.
Right.
And also you can just like I'll buy this, like they will release a series of items or cosmetic dedicated to this tournament,
yeah.
and a percentage of that will go into the prize pool.
Right.
And for TI4, the year that I actually went there, see it live, it broke a lot of records because 7 or 8 mil, I'm pretty sure.
Back then it's not
Online viewers.
No.
No, for
prize
the prize pool.
Okay.
7 million
Wow.
US dollar.
Yeah.
Back then it was nuts.
It
Unheard of.
was nuts.
And this was around 2013,
24,
2014.
Oh my gosh.
24 the summer
Yeah.
of 2014.
Okay.
I'm pretty
It's
sure.
nuts. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was also the time when I graduated high school,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I guess I want to go there too for my graduation trip.
Yeah.
So 17-year-old Justin hop on a plane by his own to Seattle, where I haven't been to the state before that. So it was very exciting. Underage kid
Yeah.
flew to the state all by himself. Well, everyone that I know freaked out. I was like, "Oh my God, Justin, you're going to the state. You're gonna get shot," including my mom. My mom also freaked out, really freaked out. I was like, "Oh, how can you go to this like place where no one, you don't know
You
one,
don't know anybody. Yeah.
yeah, it's the state. A lot of people have a lot of stigma about the state back then." I was like, "No, I want to check this out. I think this is really cool." And Dota was a huge part of my life at the time. And I was like, I really want to see that. And I went there. Well, and I saw that, and it was like, well, still pretty shocking to this day, I guess.
Was it like a really big stadium?
Imagine like the Hong Kong Coliseum.
What was the stadium called? I forgot.
It's in Seattle Staples Center.
Oh my gosh!
Seattle Staples Center. No
Yes,
way.
that's where the NBA plays. No, or
No, that's the other Staples Center.
that's
that's
the
the
other
Los Angeles
oh,
Staples
that's
Center.
sorry. Yeah.
So
That's
yeah, imagine the
pretty
Hong
nuts.
Kong Coliseum,
yeah.
but instead
Way bigger, right? It's probably way bigger.
It was pretty huge.
Yeah.
But instead of like people singing in the stage, you have like a tube booth with like 5 computers on each side. Then people play. You can literally see them play because it's see-through glass. You can see them playing in the glass box, and I will never forget like when the whole stadium started chanting like USA, USA, and it was like.
But what was the was it a U.S. team or was it?
No, it's an
Final
IT4, right?
or-
International
Yeah, so there's
tournament.
also
The
usually
final was a Chinese.
Let me guess.
team again.
China,
Samsung
South
against
Korea,
South Korea.
Japan,
Yeah.
the
Oh,
U.S.
South Korea doesn't have such. South Koreans actually aren't that good. at
Whoa,
Dota. It's
interesting.
usually
Oh,
the
wow.
state and Ukraine against Chinese.
Got it.
it's like.
Yeah, not a lot of Japanese play.
Is there
Dota
like
too.
what Cloud9, TSM?
Yeah, something like that.
Is it still
Usually-
like those two?
or
two
Evil
names, something like
Genius?
that? Okay.
What is that very big China brand called?
EDG. No.
Start with L.
Anyway.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
Whatever. Yeah, back then.
Wow.
Yeah, it was an experience. For
Okay.
sure. It was very mind blowing. And okay, I said I dropped like 700 hours or so in TF2. Right?
How
I
how
dropped
long?
3.5k
No
hours in Dota 2. So
What was your highest rank? Actually, you never told us.
I don't think I remember. It's been like.
But
at
did you
least
reach?
3 years.
Did you reach like the pro level? Did you reach the highest
I
level?
was never that close.
Not even that close.
Nah, I
So
spent a lot of
diamond?
time on it, but I was really good.
2 levels below.
Let's say it's like
So
high
you have-
gold or low diamond.
Okay.
Equivalent if you put it in league, I guess.
So you basically suck ass.
yeah, it's pretty bad. Not like
But
pro.
well, you're not bad. You're just not that good.
I'm not good
Given
enough to be a pro.
3.5 hours, 3.5k hours
Yeah.
put in. That's cool, man. That's cool.